guys, Saf here with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today the event that I get most excited about is actually active. Now I'm 2 days into this event, so this video is probably going to come out after the Soul Summoning event. It's a little bit of a let's have some fun and see what we can get. But for me, my level of an account right now, I have so many legendaries because I've been playing for so long. I've been playing for 6 years. I'm one of the veterans, that really getting more legendary heroes just doesn't really give me the same level of power or progress as getting their soul stones. And that is what we're looking at today. There is a soul stone rush that is going on right now that gives you a better chance at 5 or 6 stars. Now there's a couple of variations they do with this. Sometimes they'll put it on the Eternal, but very, very rarely. Those are the big moments. Sometimes they will affect like the chances of the rarities. Again, extremely rare. The majority of this is what they do. They basically reduce the amount to get the 1 star to give you more chances at the 5 or the 6 star. These are really good events to really save your stones up for. It's going to give you most of what the hero awakening power really involves. Like, there are some blessings that work on lower awakening ranks, but the majority of them, you really want to get that 5 or 6 star, especially when you're looking at PvP areas like an arena. The banner that a lot of people will like to use, this intimidating presence, it gets a lot stronger at 5 versus 3 because you double everything. It's double the strength here. The one in particular that everyone will want at 6 star is, of course, Crushing Rend, because Crushing Rend will become unlimited, where it only is limited to 2 hits. Like, these are things we all know by now, but if you don't know, that this is why 5 and 6 stars are really good. When it gets up to 6 star, it becomes a guaranteed and protected, so you can't 3%, and then it's protected at this point. There's just lots of different things. Now, there are some things that work great at 1 star, like Polymorph is pretty good at 1 or 3 star. Cruelty is pretty good generally. The new meta that I'm seeing a lot right now, which is absolutely terrifying, is combining this lethal dose, which basically gives you 200% more poison damage, with this new relic that is around from, I think, the Faction Wars. This relic here from the Faction Wars is pretty nasty. This Arachna Elixir, if you put it on someone like Nell, put it on someone like Calvalax, you can pretty much wipe the enemy team with just poisons in PvP. Now, obviously, you can avoid that by cleansing the poisons and blocking them. So it's not exactly a one-trick pony, but it is incredibly strong if you don't factor that could be a possibility. And I'm seeing a lot of Nells in PvP Siege that are actually extremely scary to fight against because you just can't really stop the amount of poisons that are coming out. So really what we're looking for is the 5 or 6 star souls. And for me, like I said, I've got so many legendaries, you know, unless it beats Marius, a new champion doesn't really do it for me these days. I've got a lot of champions here. I'm not even using my Toshiro inside of Chimera right now because he doesn't have 4 star, so he can't beat my 6 star Marius. So that is kind of like what we're going to look at today. We're going to have a bit of fun. There is a Soul Stone Rush on as well. This isn't as good because this is based on how many stones you pull, really. The chase is better because with a 5 or 6 star, you increase the odds of getting more high quality, and the chase is all about how good quality of a champion you get. So effectively, if you get a better champion, then you're going to get more points. Well, you don't really get that with the Soul Stone Rush. So really, if you've got 500 tier 1s, you're only going to get to 500 here. So this kind of encourages you to pull Immortal and Eternals, but you don't want to pull the Eternals because that is not under a boost. So just keep that in mind when you compare a Soul Stone Rush with a Chase. The Rush is always the worst version versus the Chase, which is the best version. And a little small tip for you, if you ever see a Chase event but you actually don't want to summon, just summon a few stones because the first reward is only about 50 points and that's about 300 energy. So it's often worth 10 of your Mortal Soul Stones because you'll probably get enough points along the way. You'll pick up like a 3 or 4 star epic maybe if you get lucky, and that will give you enough points to just get the first milestone. So always check the first milestone on a Chase. So let's get started then. What am I actually looking for here? Well, I'm looking for Baron because I realized that actually having a 6 star Baron would have been really useful if I was doing the event dungeon. And the other champion I'm really looking for is Mountain King because I have enough to make a +4 Mountain King, but I have no Awakened on the Mountain King at all, which really, to be honest, Awakening is far more valuable than a +4 these days. So I'm really looking for that kind of thing. In terms of the other one, the third legendary, it's a little bit of a free roll because I don't really use a lot of legendaries that are not already 6 star. Marius kind of powers me through many different things. I could be looking like a Teox. I already got a 5 star Lammasu now, so unless you get a 6 star, it's really difficult to get an improvement. Could look at a Shujin for PvP. That's an option. There is a Titus, of course. I'm not really interested in building a Titus team right now because that thing is like crazy. I know I'm going to have to at some point, but I'm trying to push it off down the road. I really don't want to build a Titus team So really, the rest of champions are kind of like a free roll. All the core champions that I use, I already have quite a high sort of star rating. I was looking at a Finer. Maybe that's a pretty good option to pick up. It's a bit of a free roll, really. It doesn't really matter who else I pick for that role. I will pick a Calvalax though, because Calvalax is growing in priority, so he would be quite good to pick up. In terms of epics, I've already got pretty much all the epics I want, so again, that doesn't really matter. The rest are a kind of a free roll. So first thing I need to do is I need to clear out my storage, because I only have 30 storage, so let's do that first. Okay, I've made some space. Let's start with the Mortal Soul Stones. Pretty much claimed all of the points that I have available. All my Hydra points are in as well. So I got about 94. Haven't bought any Soul Stones for this. This is just what you get from playing the game. Let's see what we get. A Legendary, and it's a 1-star Blind Seer. I don't actually have a Blind Seer. She did recently get buffed, and she's always, in my opinion, was a decent but not a crazy Void Legendary. There is a 6-star Quaster there. It used to be kind of like a fun champion 3 years ago. But yeah, Blind Seer is actually quite a good reviver now, but she's still a little bit 2024 is the best way to look at it. This is not a good run. A 6-star Misericord. I mean, remember, you're only getting better rank quality. You're not getting rarity here, so I'm more likely to see a rank 6 blue than I am to see a rank 6 Legendary. But you never know. There is always the possibility that we could get something good. As long as I get one good thing, I say this a lot in these videos, I normally end up bringing one thing home when I do these things. There's another Mythical Soul Stone. It's going to be for a 2-star Galathea that I, of course, don't have, because getting Mythical Champions is still really, really hard. But I normally always walk away with one of these events with at least one strength increase, something new that helps me on the day-to-day of the Raid Shadow Legends grind. Let's see what else we've got here then. We're getting a lot of 1-stars. There's a 5-star Narux, which was recently the fusion, so I don't actually have him, I believe. Maybe I have him, and I just don't know. But he was the recent fusion epic. What else have we got going on here? We got a Legendary. We haven't seen gold. Oh, a Crackling. Nobody wants a 1-star Crackling. That is rough. A 2-star Prisma. Now, I have got Prisma. I've been sitting on the fence with Prisma, trying to figure out where he is meant to be played. I feel like his abilities are good. I just haven't quite figured out where they're good yet. So that's something I need to play around with, have a bit more fun with. Definitely someone I will try to do a champion guide on soon, because I think he's got a really interesting skill set. I just haven't quite figured out where I'm going to use him yet. You get a 2-star Newt, followed by a 3-star Commodus, which again, I don't have. Okay, a 2-star Newt. Only good if I get another Newt. What else we got going on here? A Doom Screech, a Husk. These are not souls that I really want here. Looking for some of the goals. 6-star Zargala. That is good. A Zargala is really useful in Cintranos. And a 6-star Eviscerator. Eviscerator is kind of a secret OP rare. It's kind of a fun one. We've run out of space already. And we're down to 24 Soul Stones. Out of those 24, what did we just summon there? We summoned about 60 of them. Did we get any power-ups? Let's have a look. Let's see. So we did manage to get a 6-star Zargala. So that's something cool. We should definitely use that. That's a big boost for Zargala. She's one of the really good ones to use in Cintranos. There's a Husk that I can put a 2-star soul on. One of my duplicate Husks. That's kind of cool. That's a new blessing for him. Prisma didn't have a soul for, now have a 2-star soul. So that's another improvement. That'll be great for when we do the champion guide. Anything else? We can definitely make a 6-star Quaster now. That would be pointlessly fun. 6-star Eviscerator. That would be fun as well. So a couple of improvements there. Not bad. Nothing crazy. The 4-star Taragi, again, another really good champion for Faction Wars hard mode. One of the few allied protectors if you don't have legendaries for Shadowkin, and the bosses are a bit of a nightmare. So I'm going to clear out more, and we're going to keep going. Okay, let's summon the last Soulstone. I've got about 31 left. I will probably pull all the Immortals as well. It's pretty good to do them. I know a lot of Krakens prefer the Immortals. I don't. I prefer the small stones. We do have a Mountain King. We got at least a 2-star soul from the Mountain King. Now, that doesn't sound like it's crazy, but that gives him a huge amount of HP. Huge amount of HP and attack. That's really, really good for what I want to try and do there. I would love a 6-star, of course, but a 2-star Mountain King, that's a big boost for him when he hasn't got a single star at all. That's a lot of stats that he's going to get. Also got a 6-star in Dahlia, 4-star Bonekeeper. Kind of cool. That was a good temple. That was a great temple. Let's keep it going. Can we finish on a high? The last temple here of the Mortals. It's a 5-star Soul Bond. A legendary. Oh, it's another Prince Kaimar. Just taunting me with the fact I will never get a Prince Kaimar on my account. Another legendary. Oh. Well, that's underwhelming. But hey, the last pull was great. Let's pull 4 more here. Let's see what else we get. Got an epic. Nobody wants a Flesh Tearer. There is a 1-star Vanguard. Probably the lowest of the low. Although Vanguard's passive is quite good. 1-star Lodric. Anything to finish on a strong, it's going to be a 1-star rare. A 2-star Conqueror. Okay, so not amazing, but my Mountain King that I'm trying to work towards making a full 6-star +4 Mountain King. That's a great start, 2-star. Because what that gives him more than anything else is stats. And that's the big thing that a 2-star will give you. You will get stats because I can now put on him anything that I want. I could put Crushing Rend, I could put Kraken Roots, but let's just say I was to put Crushing Rend. That's 7,500 HP and 750 attacks. He uses both of those stats. So champions that have a dual multiplier on their stats are going to gain a lot more from things like Blessings and Awakening, because Awakening is going to increase HP and attack. So effectively, you're getting twice the amount of bonus compared to someone else who's just an attack champion, because all they're getting is more attack. The HP is not really helpful for their damage. He's going to get both. So a Blessing is like a 1.3 times multiplier of damage to him, where it's only a 1 times multiplier damage for everyone else in that kind of thought process. So that's a pretty big yield, just a 2-star, to get both of those stats in there. I need to figure out which Blessing I want to do. It's probably going to be Crushing Rend. He is very strong these days now with his new bonus because he can get a lot of rotational aspect. His main problem before was he was only single target and he only hit once. Now we can kind of go here to here. If you have Chrono Cube on him, you could even go back to here and then go back to here. There's like so much fun you can do with him now, which you couldn't do before. We actually can fully get this Soul Bond up as well. That's kind of cool. I like Soul Bond. She's a pretty decent rare. Bonekeeper, we're getting that crit damage bonus. 4 stars, really big for damage dealers. 4-star and 2-star is the majority big points for damage dealers for stats because you get your attack and your critical damage. Really big bonus points there. Hey, look, we can put a soul on Rearguard Sergeant that apparently I never had a soul for. So who knows? I mean, one of the things I would say is I'm obviously awakening a lot of champions here. It's always worth hoarding a lot of these champion souls, because if you come into a situation where you get your soul merchant and you go, I really would love that 6-star, the more of these you have available to you at that point, the better. And it doesn't matter if you have a big hoard of souls, right? These aren't going anywhere. If you get the champion, great. Now you have a 5-star soul. If you don't get the champion, but something comes up in your market, now you can sell it and basically get what you want from the market. So it gives you the flexibility to do what you need. It's why I keep all these mythical champions and all the duplicates, because hey, if I pull 2 Lazariuses, I can do a 4 and a 5-star. If I only ever pull 1 Lazarius, then I can just do a 5-star. If I need to then get a 6-star Lazarius soul, or if I need to get a 6-star, I don't know, Newt soul, I could just trade in all of my souls at that moment in time to get what I want, and I have that buying power. So I always recommend anyone who does it to try and keep as much as you can, because there's no harm really in hoarding those things, because you can always, it's pretty cheap to increase the storage, and you can just maintain it by going, you know, I don't want the 1-stars, these are fine to sell off, and just keep building up a little bit of a pot here as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a nice little 3 exchange here with some stones. So we have a nice 10 pull plus 1. 10 pulls plus 1 because I can't count today. So let's see what we're going to get. Now, I normally find these stones to give me pretty much nothing, which is why I prefer Mortal Soul Stones. I prefer the chance of getting... I prefer more chances of getting something than less chances of getting a big thing, if that makes sense. This gives me a lot of chances to get nothing, where this gives me less chances to get something, and I prefer this one because I generally find rolling the dice on the mortals are better for me. I'm probably wrong on that front, because obviously the higher quality stone is going to give you the best chances, so therefore if you have more of these, you're probably going to get more stalls. It's just what I think about in terms of not spending. So what are you going to get? 3-star Franox, not a great start. 5-star Ishmir, a 4-star Laz that I don't have, 6-star Arbalister, not great. Legendary, it's a 5-star Jorgid I don't have. This is going to be the temple of every champion that I don't have, isn't it? Okay, so not amazing. However, if I ever get a Jorgid, I'll have a 5-star. Might never happen, but you never know. These things are always possible. And let's just pull one more here. And the final stone here, what are we going to get? It's blue. It's a 3-star. It's always a 3-star rare. Always a 3-star rare. This is why I don't particularly like them, because it didn't really give me thing. I mean, it gives me a 6-star Arbalaster, Arbalest has this kind of cool sort of A3 where she will increase her damage based on the number of debuffs on the target. It's not exactly insane, but you can get a pretty big hit for a rare champion. So a 6-star rail on there would be quite fun to do. Bit of a fun social experiment video. So where did that get us on the Soulstone Rush? It got us quite far, actually. Considering that I didn't have many of the big stones, that actually got us quite far. We were able to get all the way down here. Now, I could push how many points here? I could push 30 points, which is basically 3 Mortal Soulstones or an Immortal Soulstone to get a 5-star chicken. It could be worth, or I could push 500 points to get a Legendary Book if I want to try my luck on an Eternal. There is really no reason why I would put an Eternal, unless I just want to have a little bit of fun, which we could do. We could do. Like, I would definitely prefer the Legendary Book, and I am about 500 points away from it. So we could pull a little bit more. So let's just say, let's trade in 1 Eternal Soulstone and 2 of these. I think that will be enough. So, let's see what we get. 3 more rolls for a little bit of fun. This is totally not, you don't need to do this, but it's fun. Let's get a 4-star add with. Not really what we're looking for. Don't give me a rare. That's an epic. At least it's not a rare. 3-star low. Okay, well, nothing crazy. Okay, then this one here, like I said, there's no boost. This is just a fun pull. It's probably going to be a 5-star epic, but you never know. It's epic. 6-star Torture Helm. Okay, well, you know, Torture Helm's not totally trash. He's not totally terrible, but, you know. I guess that was a pull. We had some fun. Does that get me the next milestones that I was looking for? The Legendary Book. It should get me across the line. It does indeed. There we go. That is not a bad pull. So I pretty much got all the way down to here. Only using the stuff that I have accrued. Like, I haven't bought any stones for this video. I didn't buy any of them. This is just stuff that you get from doing Hydra, doing lots of different Cintranos runs. You get some from the tower, you get some from doing quests. Now you get some from different places. I did a few, or I always do Sunday Iron Twins. I rarely do day-to-day Iron Twins these days. You do pick up a lot of stones. It doesn't feel like you do, but if you don't spend them, if you don't pull them straight away, you will pull a bunch of these until one of these awakening boosts, and that's the best time to pull them. So yeah, so we got a full red board here now of a bunch of different mythical champions that I will never own because mythical champions are almost impossible to get these days. So I like to keep them all there. There's a bunch of different sort of legendaries that I could definitely. I've got 2 5-star Jorgids. Again, most of these legendary champions, now there are so many champions in the game, it's really hard to imagine that I'll ever get a chance of getting a Khaimar or ever get the chance of getting a Jorgid. You know, it'll be once in a blue moon if I get them, or if I decide I really want to spend a lot of money, which generally I don't do these days because, I mean, I'll be honest, it's very hard for me to buy progress. I'm already beating everything, and nothing really is available that can beat my 5-star Marius. I have this new marker in the game. If it can beat Marius, it's worth it. If it can't beat Marius, then I don't really know why I would get it because Marius runs my game. And it's the downside of having such a powerful legendary that you can get by just completing a progress mission. So if you are still trying to get Marius, I highly recommend it. He will clear the game pretty much. I pretty much use him everywhere. He's my Doom Tower clearer. He's my dungeon clearer. He's in every team. He's so good. So we shall see. But there you go, guys. That is the end of the Awakening video. Let me know how you got on this Awakening boost. We haven't had one for a while, so it's a pretty good one to do. They've been throwing a few little like bait missions and bait events to try and get you to pull. I didn't fall for it. You know, I didn't fall for the deck. I did go for Battlar, which did cost me a little bit, but I've been able to recoup some since then. Let me know what you got. I got a little bit of a boost because I got one of my main targets, which was our Mountain King. I feel like now that he's got a soul, it might be worth actually +4ing him and testing him out, seeing how he can do. In an ideal world, I would love for him to be a +4 at least, rather than a +2. That would give me the critical damage. That's the only thing I lose. 38% crit damage is a lot these days, so. But otherwise, it's still a power. We still got something new that I didn't have before. But I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching, as always, and I'll catch you in the next video.